So, you're interested in learning more about 98XX, aren't you? What is 98XX and what is so important about Jumping Julian? I'm glad you asked, and this is going to be the story we have so far. And I must warn you, this story has spoilers in it, and the game is chock full of secrets, so I recommend you watching a video about it first and then coming back, or if you don't mind about spoilers, here they are. However, if you do, consider Jackson G13. His game, the link is in the description, but here we go. So we have this guy right here. His name is Bob Carter, and Bob Carter created Razii Incorporated, who manufactures one of the most advanced computer chips out there today. In fact, they are so advanced that other companies swear by the CPU, and it is praised among both gamers and just the industry alike. One company in particular, Mirez, was especially impressed with Razii's CPU that it created a computer called 98XX that utilizes the CPU in the computer. Not only is this computer great, super fast, everything you want in a computer, it also has 1-star game on it, preloaded in fact. And that is a game like no other. That is Jumping Julian. Jumping Julian was created by John Munkford. This fun and enticing game pushes the boundaries of what Razii's computer chip can do and showed the world what is possible. The game even got in trouble for its addictive gameplay, which individuals spent hours gaming, trying to complete their levels and try to master the game as a whole. And honestly, I don't blame them. In my video, I played Jumping Julian for hours, and it is one toasty of a game. But all is not without despair, as after releasing Jumping Julian to the public, one individual named Jason Storm severely criticized Munkford on his game and left him scarred. Not being able to take the criticism, Munkford actually left game development and, oddly enough, joined Razii Incorporated, which is actually the same company as the criticizer Jason Storm. Now, obviously, Munkford was able to develop Jumping Julian, so this was a very nice fit for him as he was able to use Razii's chip to perfect that game. But shortly after Munkford was working at Razii Incorporated, Jason Storm, the promising young engineer, disappeared without a trace. Now, Razii denies any involvement in his disappearance and was actually an integral part of improving security and the upbringing in the workplace environment. However, it doesn't look good for them. You know what I mean? I would not like to disappear at work. At all. I'm sure Jason Storm didn't know that. Around the same time Jason Storm disappeared, the game Jumping Julian was having strange and adverse effects on those who actually play the game, and on the computer itself. Not only would the computer recognize who you were without prompt, the game would show the character Jumping Julian, modifying and changing the way the computer behaves. Julian will be found asking players if they have ever thought about death and their viewpoints on the topic, which is a little strange not being in the game itself. After playing around with the computer a bit more, hidden messages would appear, enticing the consumer to have negative thoughts that would potentially end up taking their lives. Now, Jumping Julian, or just the computer 98XX on its own, has a lot of hidden components to it. The game is chock full of secrets, so many in fact that it is fun just to go around to see what you can and can't do. And obviously as you play the game, Julian starts getting a little saucy with the messages he's talking about. With the negative effects that the consumer and even employees of Razii Incorporated had after playing Jumping Julian, Razii Incorporated had several suicides at the company, and they did their best to investigate what could have been the cause of this. And all hands pointed to Jumping Julian and those little thoughts and little things he said in each of the secrets and as you progress with the game. With the sudden surge of suicides at Razii's Incorporated, and with them suspecting the game as its cause, the police and the company were going to investigate Munkford on what is going on. And Munkford ultimately ended his own life before being questioned by the police. So a lot of questions you might be asking yourself: is this game actually cursed? Did Munkford have anything to do with Storm's disappearance? Did Munkford intentionally program the game with these subliminal messages? Only time will tell as the investigation unfolds. Obviously, this is the first release of the game, and after talking with Jackson, the game does have several more updates available, and I am excited to see what new secrets are involved and how that story is unfolded. Now, obviously, to talk a little bit some more of the secrets that we have. Obviously, if you play through the game, which I highly suggest doing, you encounter some odd things. You play Jumping Julian to begin with, if that's the first thing that you play, and you go through the levels like normal. Then you encounter where Jumping Julian asks you if you ever thought about death. Weird. And then, not only that, but Jumping Julian makes the game even harder. And I had a hard time doing it for my first playthrough. I like couldn't do it. I don't know why those spiky balls just kept hitting me and I couldn't do anything about it. However, after that, I guess I like learned, I don't know, I was able to complete those levels much easier than the first time. I swear it took me like a solid 20 minutes just to get past that, like those few levels with those floating like mace balls. But once you eventually get through all the gaming, you reboot the computer and you come up with the loading screen with your name on it. It surprised me, and it surprised my buddy Gavin. Gavin, if you're watching this, hello. I don't know if I was supposed to be using your name, but he was also a little bit shocked by that. And then you just kind of get booted back into the computer, where nothing appears to be working. You try clicking on things, nothing happens. It says there's like an error, and then all of a sudden you get a jump scare that happens, and then ultimately just crashes your version of 98XX. And let me not forget about Jumping Julian saying that you will die before crashing that computer. So after doing those dry runs of the game, it kind of restarts and goes back to the beginning. And after messing around a little bit, pretty much like if you go into the paint, you paint a lot of the surface area, and in the middle you come across the code, which you will then put into the match all shapes type of game. After you do that, you will come across a QR code that'll take you to a website. When I first did it, I know Jackson did it because it was like a free QR to website thing, but that kind of threw me off for a little bit. I didn't know because it took me to like a site with an ad, but you kind of have to get past that, and then you'll get into an interview with a person who's kind of like the black bar of the eyes, so you can't really see their identity. However, the interviewer asks them about being the creator of Jumping Julian, which we know is Munkford himself. And the interview just kind of goes into details about, or very few details, I guess I should say, about Munkford connecting the computer chip to the human brain and how fascinating the brain is. I guess it's kind of like talking in circles and how much like a computer chip it is. Which makes sense because we have Munkford join Razii Inc, who manufactures these chips. So it only makes sense that after Storm just completely demolished his career with gaming, that he moved on to something else that interests him. But then as you go through the game, you could go into the web browser and read all the articles, which I kind of summarized earlier in the video. And the thing that I did not catch at the beginning, which in hindsight, I probably really should have, was all the numbering that was scattered through all the web pages. I did notice them, and I wrote them down on my phone. However, I was not smart enough just to mess around and to click the numbers themselves, which is what you're supposed to do. So if you're watching this before playing it, I don't know. Yeah, this is obviously a big spoiler. The whole thing's a spoiler. You'll go ahead and click in numeric order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it'll open up more pages. And we start to see, Razii Inc., their creation, Mirez, how they got started, and we just progress through till we focus on the game, the suicides, and then the eventual closure of Razii Inc., which is kind of a shame if you think about it. After making these delicious chips, they kind of got shut down, which I know, yeah, it is clearly a shame what happened. But, I mean, they were talking about how advanced these computer chips were, and, all of us would like to see updates to Jumping Julian. And after reading all the articles, you kind of progress through until you're hit with a jump scare and presented with another QR code. Now, with this code, you get into the beeping and another code, Morse code. And then you get into the long string of numbers, which I couldn't really figure out. I mean, I found it, I just couldn't figure it out. I thought it was just more Morse code, but it makes sense that the Morse code kind of reflects back to that numbers. And it was not until Jaden and the Real Round brought it to my view that this is a hexadecimal code, which I knew it was another code. Listen, I don't decipher codes for a living, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't exactly too sure what this was, and I had to have a couple big-brained people help me out here. It's not bad to ask for help. However, we go and decipher this code, and I actually think I have it right now. I could go ahead and tell you what it says, but let's actually go into it. So here's the code, and luckily for me, I kind of saved stuff, and because of the QR codes, I actually had to use my phone to take a picture of the QR code and then send it to myself via email, and I'm kind of glad I did that, because now I have all this stuff saved. But we have this whole long string of stuff that I couldn't figure out. And let's go ahead to hexadecimal. Hexadecimal to, I guess, English converter. There we go. Probably decoder, but you kind of get the point. And let us go hex to text and convert. And I needed to do an update to the game, but I guess here we are, right? And here's what Jumping Julian wants us to know, the takeaway message from after reading all these web pages.
I wander in the darkness, but never in light. I get to their heads and feed off their anger. You wish to find me? I know you do. Seek out these places and look very hard.
That's I like that. That sounds very good. And here we go to Jackson. We have their games here, which I'm not going to be coy. Let's actually just go ahead and I'm following them on itch, which is kind of the easiest place for me to find them. And here we go. Essentially, this is kind of like links to their own stuff, which I appreciate. Jackson, create that self plug in there for you. Appreciate it. I have played a lot of these. I haven't played Brigadon and Trevor the Dragon. I haven't played that either. I'm probably going to go ahead and play some of these eventually, but I'm not sure if there's any hidden meanings scattered through the other games or not. But this is the list that they have. We have 98XX, we have Derealized, which is really good. Brigadon, which I haven't played, but I know it's kind of like an adventure game. Excited to play that one. Night of the Nutcracker, which I played multiple occasions and cannot beat. Jackson keeps giving me words of encouragement. That is fantastic, but I can't survive the nights. You can give me all the applause you want, but I just can't survive. Hard game. I'll probably actually be attempting this, the Christmas in July. I'll probably be attempting it yet again. Yeah, so watch me fail another time. And Trevor the Dragon, I'm not entirely too sure. I know a lot of these were only a few plugs right there. Oh yeah, Trevor the Dragon, the Nutcracker, and Brigadon, which, good. However, we have this dark message from Julian, which I think is a piece to some things later on in the video. And for like more the final secret, I suppose. Oh wait, no, the Morse code. We didn't really go over the one Morse code. And the Morse code says pretty much like, I am always here. And I mean, you're on the computer, Jumping Julian, so of course you're always here. But yet another dark message from Julian themselves. And one of the last things is the actual mechanics of Jumping Julian. Now, it sounds silly, but the secret is just jumping off of the map. I don't know if I'd just been playing games for too long and just assumed that you could not break the threshold of the game, because if you jump off either side, you just kind of teleport back and have to start back over. But this is not the case for the little platforms that are up higher that kind of like crest the edge of the map. And on the first level, once you crest that edge, you find a key. And you're like, okay, great. Like, what do I do with this key? Can't really do much about it. So then the computer restart, you kind of go back in, and on the second level, you find a lock. And you're like, okay, fantastic. What am I doing here? Then upon opening Jumping Julian, you will be hit with another jump scare, and you will go into a part that's kind of like hazy and fuzzy, and you're this little yellow dot. And it's kind of, again, it kind of got me because I thought it was like a little movie clip or a little clip or something like that. So I stuck around for a while, and the music did remind me a lot of Night of the Nutcracker. Not sure if that was intentional or if it is actually similar, but that's what it reminded me of. So I was just jamming. Took me a little bit. But then we go through, and we have to collect more keys. Upon collecting more of these keys, we are met with what I guess the best way to see it is like almost like a sermon. So we have, you know, like the red blob, and then we have all little white figures at the bottom. And this, I could be mistaken, but I don't think I am, is symbolic of Jumping Julian, the red figure, and all the victims that he claimed, at least their souls anyway, within the software of Jumping Julian itself. And that's kind of about it for the secrets. If I missed something, you let me know, or if I missed a detail that I probably should have said, also let me know. But this is the first time I'm doing kind of like a recap of a game, so please let me know if you like it, and if I should do more with other future updates that are coming out, or if I should just play the game, or if I shouldn't just do this and just play the game instead and just be happy with it. But let me know. I hope you enjoyed it. Jackson, thank you for all the support. I support you. I am glad that you support me. And thank you for all the subscribers actually supporting me. Everyone is amazing, telling me the secrets that I missed because I couldn't figure it out myself, and just giving me the support to actually continue making games for everyone. I enjoy doing it, but I also... it also makes me feel good when other people enjoy it as well. And I guess for like finalizing some notes, the game is great, obviously looking out for the next update. But yeah, we have a demonic piece of software here, you know? And yeah, I don't know if Munkford exactly knew what they were up to, but I'm pretty sure they'd be taking souls and people's lives. So, good thing you have me here to play Jumping Julian for you to keep you safe. However, I do suggest you try it out also. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But I'm curious. I'm excited for more lore and to see how this goes. This was a little bit longer than I thought of a video, but I really hope you enjoyed it. When I was typing this out, I was kind of like thinking it's gonna be like a 5-10 minute-er, but here I go off script doing a ton of stuff. Not that I make myself a script, but I need, you know, little bullets to keep myself in line. All right. I'm done. That's enough. I hope you enjoyed Jumping Julian, and I will see you later. Bye-bye. Ah!